I'm Jake Sanderson.
I'm Tim Stützle, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
You're Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are listening to the Postcast presented by our friends over at the Glebe Central Pub. You guys know the Postcast and the Locked On Senators podcast is sponsored by our good friends over at the Glebe Central Pub. Check them out at 779 Bank Street, the GCP, where the vibes are free. I'm your host, Brandon Piller, joined by Piller Martian for what was a bit of a snooze fest of a game. I mean, unless you like defense, coaching, or you bet the under. But Martian, you were boots on the ground at this game. You were in the box too, so you had nice, good seats, good viewing area. What'd you think?
Yeah, great seats, Pilsy, for this very tight checking matchup. Holy smokes, buddy! Like, talk about a stingy group. That LA team, man, they don't give up a lot in that neutral zone, buddy, and the Sens faced it there tonight. It was a tight checking game all around. The Sens did a good job on their end too, I thought too. Obviously it looked like it was going to be a low scoring one, basically from the very start. I mean, 10 minutes into this game, the Sens didn't even have a shot on goal yet. It was just one of those ones where you couldn't get pucks to the net and you couldn't get any offense going. Really, both teams. Obviously, Laferriere ends up getting that only goal of the game and a great deflection, but I mean, Pilsy, this one was an absolute snoozer. As much as I love being in that beautiful full script box and hanging out with the good people, man, it was tough. We had a good time. Obviously, it's always a good time in the CTC, and I felt like the crowd was pretty solid for the most part, despite the weather. I think there was a lot of people worried about the freezing rain in the area being a bit of a factor here. I expected it to be a bit of a lighter crowd maybe, and it looked pretty good to me. I thought it was solid. As far as the crowd goes, but as far as the game goes, there was, I mean, after every intermission, I kind of walked up the stairs and I was just like, Jesus, like, are we going to get a goal ever here in this game? It's a bit of a sleepy one.
Yeah, it was tough. And look, I'm glad the crowd was there, Martian, because you're not going to have another opportunity to see the Ottawa Senators at home until December 4th. This team is going on the road for weeks here. So it would have been nice to send off before the California and extended road trip with a little bit more excitement than getting shut out 1-0. But I mean, overall, it's not that bad of a game. I don't know. I was about to say you'd rather that than get absolutely pumped, but what do you think? Is that, would you rather get pumped and score a couple goals at least, or is a 1-0 game a little easier to swallow?
It's easy to swallow because I think that there's a lot of things that the Sens did tonight that you can look to and be like, wow, they do that against pretty much any other team as far as their defensive game goes, and they're going to win that game. But when you're facing a team like LA and they're doing kind of that same kind of style, that very defensive style, and like I said, that neutral zone area, there was just nothing cooking through there. Like, LA was playing a one-man forecheck, and they had four guys at all times kind of clogging up that neutral zone at their own blue line. It was an absolute cluster, through the middle of the ice, and the Sens, for whatever reason, refused to dump. I mean, we've always kind of hated the dump and chase style, but that's the only way you're ever going to get past those guys. You got to fire one into their zone and make them chase it down and hope to get in there on them and turn a puck over. But man, oh man, they were just so stingy, Pilsy, holding every little, they were man on man. It was just ridiculous stick on stick. There was nothing going on. It was constant pressure. And you got to give them credit. They're all kind of playing a little bit like the guy who's about to retire. Last time I'm ever going to get to see Anze Kopitar play NHL hockey. He got a nice little ovation from the crowd too at the beginning of the game. Nice to see him. Good, very classy move from the Sens to give him his due, and very, very classy by the fans as well to give him a nice ovation. But that whole LA team was playing like a bunch of Anze Kopitars out there and just playing that really strong defensive game. and it was working like a charm. Like the Sens, like I said, the Sens, like first period, they had 2 shots on goal. Second period, they did a little bit better. They started getting pucks down low from the point. I thought especially a couple good chances, and then in the third period, they definitely had their looks.
Yep.
But a lot of missed nets, good chances that didn't result in shots on goal, and you got to hit the net to score. So the Sens just kind of struggled offensively tonight, just because I think of LA's style. And but when you talk about good signs, I think that defensively, if the Sens play like that, like they're starting to figure out their own defensive side of the puck. They only allowed 1 goal. Like there's a real positive to take away from this, right? Like 1 goal against. You look at that, and that's pretty nice. So. It is what it is, Pels.
And this is typically a game this season that we see the Sens find a way to tie it and bring it to overtime. And now whether they win or not in overtime has been a bit of a mixed bag of results. But I really thought near the end there, they were pushing the right way and they were finding ways to at least get chances. Like you look at that really great breakaway where I don't know. I don't love the idea of pretty much coming to a full stop and pretty much making it clear that your only option is a backhand because Forsberg gets on that. Now, if Ridley gets that up a little higher, I think he has a better chance of scoring there, but I thought he could have pulled a different move there. Batherson missed the net with a wide open chance in the slot. Timmy had a couple times where he passed it up when he had the better shot opportunity than where he passed it. Classic Timmy. And then Sanderson at the end of the game, he had a nice lane to shoot it from the point. And he wrists one like 7 feet off the ice and it misses high and wide. And then the Sens aren't able to keep it in the zone there. That's one where, I don't know, Sandy typically would have had a more hockey IQ play where he keeps it low and allows for tips, deflections, or at least if that misses the net or gets blocked, you have an opportunity to get that rebound. Whereas the high and wide, the Kings are able to get it and clear it out of there. So just missed opportunities, but like you said, a 1-0 loss, sure, disappointing, but there are some positives to take away from it.
Yeah, I feel like that. Like you just mentioned Sanderson, like his shot there, a little bit of a like non kind of Sanderson style of play, but like it just felt like the whole team, like they were hoping for a bounce that just wasn't going to happen, right? It was just like they're looking for luck, and luck wasn't there on their side at all tonight. So that's the way the cookie crumbles here, and it's going to be tough for us to keep the postcast going here because there's really not a lot to talk about in this game, honestly. Few little plays. I mean, everybody kind of looks to me for the ref report on this one, and my favorite referee was out there tonight. Eric Furlat. I mean, he strikes again in some different ways, right? Like there's a few different plays out there where I thought the Sens could have drew a penalty, and Eric Furlat just looks the other way. Nope, doesn't want to blow the whistle on that one. And then, I mean, the other one I would point to, and I'm not really complaining about the refs.
We don't talk about the refs on the show. Everybody knows
we don't talk about the refs, and this is kind of like just us just like looking for something here. But Jordan Spence got brought down brought down a LA player in his own zone there, and I don't think that should have been a penalty at all. I think that was just a good defensive play by Jordan Spence, playing hard and getting his stick on the puck, kind of throwing his hip out a little bit, and the LA player just goes down. And it is what it is. That ends up being a penalty, and I don't think it should have been. I think it was just a good play. Let the boys play, Eric. Come on.
Yeah, you love Eric. But I will say I'm with you on that one. That maybe was 2 minutes the Ottawa Senators shouldn't have had to spend in the box. But he balanced it out later because Zub high-sticked Byfield, and Byfield clearly bleeding from the mouth, which I thought that
pulling teeth.
Yeah, I thought that was a black and white call. If you get high-sticked and you're bleeding, there's no like, oh, I don't know, whatever. It's just like an automatic double minor, and Zub only got the minor there. So you got your 2 minutes back there. Neither team able to convert on the power play here as the LA Kings go 0 for 2, as do the Ottawa Senators. Now, here comes my big moment, Martian. Let's see if I can pull this up without taking our faces away or muting either one of us in the process. Here we go.
There it is.
There we go. We don't have our faces still. No, that doesn't work. That doesn't work either. Okay, but
He's doing
everyone
good.
can still hear me, I hope.
Yeah.
Let's go through this game recap. LA Kings 1-0. The shots on goal, very low here. 18 for LA, 17 for Ottawa. As I mentioned, 0 for 2 on the power play both ways. The Sens, as they do, win the face-off battles. Hits, 16 for LA, 22 for Ottawa. 20 blocks for the Kings. Someone mentioned earlier, I believe it was our friend Jake Sanderson, that the LA Kings blocked more shots than Forsberg had to face with 20 than 18 or 17 shots by the Ottawa Senators, 13 blocks for the Sens as well. Here's where it's interesting, though, Martian. I don't know if I've ever seen it this split 5-on-5 expected goals percentage. The LA Kings only with 27.3%, and the Ottawa Senators, who get shut out and lose, with 72.7% there. So that's usually when you have the expected goals percentage in your favor that heavily, at the very least, you're scoring a goal or tying this game or getting a point out of it.
Yeah, I mean that's surprising, Pillsy.
Crazy.
Are you sure that's right? You did this. You did the stats.
Yeah, producer Austin, do those ones. I'll look it up again. I'm doing it right now here.
I'm sure it's right.
According to Natural Stat Trick, I'm looking it up. Even producer Ross would tell me this is where we get our stats from. So that is correct. Tell me if in the chat if you find the same as well. But that's crazy.
What? All I'm going to say about that is just that just proves that you just can't go off analytics alone, right? You never just go off analytics. That's why we play the games. That's, those are analytics at the end of the day, depending on the result, like sometimes they match up, but in cases like tonight, that just clearly doesn't match up because I felt like, for a lot of the game, Ottawa was the better team, I felt like, at 5-on-5, but 78% or 75%. I mean, that's a crazy tilt right there. And you would think Ottawa would be able to get a couple goals out of that, or at least more than 17 shots on goal, Pillsy. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's just the way it looks when you have a weird game like this where it's super tight checking. And I guess the Sens, when they did get their chances, maybe they were more high danger. I don't know how that stat actually works.
Well, I can tell you, Martian, we're looking at Natural Stat Trick here. A real producer would be able to pull that up and show everyone, but I'll just explain it to everyone. 3 high danger chances for the Kings, 10 for the Ottawa Senators. Okay. And then our guy Half Jap is asking for the shot attempts. I use Corsi 4. That's basically shot attempts. At least I think so. In my opinion, it was 50-31 for the Ottawa Senators. 50 Corsi 4, 31 against. So, I mean, it's one of those games where you don't feel that good coming off a 1-0 loss, but when you look at the micro analytics, there are some good things to point at. Yeah,
it's an absolute case study. It was a weird game. Very different from what we're used to seeing as far as like the modern day NHL goes. Like, how many 1-0 games do you see? It's not super common. Definitely not anymore. I mean, the goal, it's all about goals nowadays. It's a very high flying game, and you don't see this kind of, like, it almost felt like I don't want to say a playoff game because like the intensity I don't think was there, but it like, as far as style of play, LA looks like a team who is ready kind of like for that playoff style where there's not as much space out there and you can keep things really tight and be comfortable with that. I think that's kind of their MO. So it's something to look out for when we go over to LA and end up playing them next Monday. That is when we play them. So we've got a big road trip coming up here. They're going to be part of it. So we know what to expect with this group. They're going to be all over you in the neutral zone. There's not going to be a lot of time and space. Hopefully they go to Kemper maybe, because Forsberg seemed to have our number tonight too. He made a lot of good saves. You got to give him a little bit of credit. Another really good ovation, I think, from the Sens fans. Like, he ended up getting a little bit of a standing O. I would call it a half standing O, Pilsy. Like, not everybody stood up, but a good number of people did. So you can tell Forsberg was very well appreciated as a member of the Sens. And I thought that, it was, if there's one silver lining you can take away from a 1-0 super boring loss at home, it's that, a beloved former member of the team ended up getting kind of like a good game out of it. And,
Cody Ceci?
Not Cody Ceci. No, sir. No, not Cody Ceci. It was Anton Forsberg back there, just stopping pucks. Not many. I mean, he only had to make 17 saves, but all in all, we talked about this in the group chat. I was saying it all night before the game to people who I was talking to. It's either going to be Forsberg's going to let in 6 or 7 goals, or he's going to shut us out. And sure enough, foolish me. I mean, I know, but I don't know well enough to put my money where my mouth is. And he shut us out. So that's the way she goes, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the true form of Corpusalo a game before, and then we saw the Jekyll and Hyde, the good side of that with Forsberg here. I want to dive into the goalie battle in this 1-0 loss after the break, but quickly, I want to touch on, Martian, you mentioned the LA Kings play a playoff-style game. Well, you also said, which I said too, but I was corrected on YouTube, last time seeing Anze Kopitar in Ottawa, well, these two teams are in playoff spots right now. What if they made it to the Stanley Cup final? Maybe we see Anze Kopitar back, but that won't happen because the Kings will lose to the Edmonton Oilers in round 1, as is the age-old annual tradition. We're going to get into the goalie battle of this tight checking game right after a couple words from some of our favorite sponsors. You're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Monarch Money. Guys, Monarch Money is going to help you take care of your finances. Let's be honest, most of us can't name all our financial accounts, let alone what they're worth. You got 401k, savings, investments, and so much more. It's a lot to take care of, and don't do it on your own. Let Monarch Money help you. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. Monarch Money is going to make things simple for you. Let them do all the heavy lifting. They're going to help you organize your accounts, track your spending, and get a better handle on your investments without having to touch a spreadsheet. You can review everything with your partner, see your shared goals, and make better financial decisions together. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks, not in this economy. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarch.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarch.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off your first year. And as we all know, the Locked On Senators podcast postcast is presented by the GCP. Go check out our friends over at the Glebe Central Pub. They're going to hook you up with an awesome time. The vibes are free at the GCP. They got the Sens shuttle, which Sue will get you there and back on time. Only $18 round trip. Start at the pub, go to the game. Don't worry about parking. Don't worry about driving. Don't worry about having to run out of the CTC. Just stroll on over back to the parking lot, and Sue will take care of you and get you back to the pub so you can celebrate or drown your sorrows at the GCP. They got great food, great drinks, and it's not just sports and hockey, guys. They got wing nights, Taco Thursday, trivia night for all you nerds out there that want to show off all your stuff. Check out the Glebe Central Pub. Anytime we're in Ottawa, we go to the GCP. And like we talked about in the Monarch Money ad, in this economy, it's hard to take care of all your finances. Well, Martian, let the good people know what the cost of vibes are at the GCP.
I believe they're free, Pillsy. The vibes are free.
The vibes are free at the GCP. You heard it from Martian there. So go check them out. 779 Bank Street. All right, everyone, back here in the postcast. I'm Brandon Piller with my guy, Laleem's Martian. We're chopping it up, talking about a 1-0 loss to the LA Kings. Woo! Feel the excitement.
Yes,
Rev up the red.
Oh, I feel it. Oh, God.
Let's go. We're excited you guys are here with us, though. Martian and I always have a blast when we're here. Dad's not home. Ross isn't here clicking the buttons, making sure we're getting to all our breaks on time, making sure we're hitting the right overlays and not taking away our faces and mutes at the wrong time. So we're riding off the rails a little bit here, and that's what the postcast is all about sometimes. You mentioned Anton Forsberg getting that nice tribute. I think it's well-deserved that he didn't get any booze or anything like that. Like, certainly not a guy that deserves that. A waiver wire pickup, a good soldier for this team. Martian, I was looking it up the other day. Anton Forsberg had a winning record in his time with the Ottawa Senators. He had decent numbers, above 900 save percentage, below 3 goals against average at 299. But
still below.
I mean, for the way Ottawa Senators goaltenders have been, and for picking him up off waivers, he was the kind of guy the Ottawa Senators needed.
Yeah, I mean, really, like, you look at it, not a bad pickup for a waiver wire pickup, right? Like, when you talk about a guy who got claimed off waivers, remember when he first came into Ottawa, he had a mismatched pads. He was wearing his Winnipeg Jets colored pads still for, I think it was like the first couple weeks as a Sen, and he was playing well too those first couple weeks. So I mean, like, you look at his body of work as a Senator, and for the most part being a backup goalie, I do believe there was a couple seasons there maybe where he probably got more starts than whoever else was in town, whether it be Hogberg or Matt Murray or all these different duds that they've brought in net. He was kind of the steady constant there through those rebuilding years as one of those guys who was going to be solid in the back end. So Forsberg, man, no bad things to say about him. A little bit of a volatile goaltender, but definitely pulled out a lot of big wins for this team. So kudos to him. But yeah, I mean, Ullmark was great tonight too, right, Bills?
Yeah, well, let's get into that. Martian, unless you have a different Sens Central standout, I'll lead you into that one, or I can take Ullmark. Do you have a different guy? Because that was going to be mine.
Okay, you go ahead then. If it was going to be yours, I can think of someone else for sure.
Yeah, no, 1-0 loss. It's not a lot of options. So I was going to be the nice guy and give you the goalie that made most of the saves here. But I mean, come on, you got to give Linus Ullmark some credit here. Obviously, Anton Forsberg gets the shutout. That's what you prefer. But 18 shots, 17 goals, and that was a really nice play by Laferriere. Like, that's not one where I'm like, oh, Ullmark, bad goal or bad timing, or you got to have that one. Like, that was a nifty, slick play by Laferriere, between the legs tip on a point shot. Not much chance for Ullmark there. And then I thought he was solid throughout the rest of the game. There was even one, I'm trying to find my note here. Point shot stopped, rebound, Kopitar right out front, Ullmark, big save. I think that was probably his best save, Kopitar in front. But a 944 save percentage for the way Ullmark's been struggling this year, you're not going to complain about that. So I want to give Ullmark my Sens Central standout, presented by the Glebe Central Pub.
Yeah, you have to, and he was named the third star of the night tonight, so he well deserved there. Obviously, there wasn't many guys to choose from for people trying to pick the 3 stars there, but the numbers are right, Pilsy, right? Like, I mean, 944. That's incredible, right? That's a good. Yeah. He had it. When you look at the game and you look around the room in the Ottawa Senators dressing room, and you look at guys like who was good tonight. I mean, he had his guy tonight, right? Yeah. He did his job tonight. He only allowed that one goal. It was great deflection. It was tough. It was almost an impossible save. It happened 2 feet in front of him. Great tip. Slowed the puck, changed direction. Like, the whole thing happened right in front of me. I just looked at that and I said, "Oh my God, what a great deflection in front of the net by Laferriere." The sound of the stick hitting the puck, it was just like, it was perfect. So you can't give him a hard time for this game at all. In fact, I thought he was very good. Yeah. So, and not a lot of work, but he made the saves that he should have made for sure.
Yeah. All right. Did you have enough time to come up with a Sens Central standout? Guys in the chat, let us know who your Sens Central standouts were.
Yeah, and I've been waiting for this guy because I want to give him his love. I think he's been getting a lot of healthy scratches for him, and he's playing his former team here tonight.
Nice.
And I thought that Jordan Spence had a really good game. I think that playing. I don't know if this is the most time on ice minutes he's ever had as a Senator, but I'm willing to guess it is, because with Shabbat out, you lean on him a little bit more, getting a little bit of power play time as well. Yep. 21:50 on ice for Jordan Spence tonight. And you could tell he had a little bit of extra pep in his step, especially early in the game. I thought Spence was really good. He ended up taking a penalty, 2 shots on goal for the guy. block. He had a block. He had a hit. And I think that penalty was a bunch of BS, to be honest with you. But at the same time, that's hockey. That's the way it goes. Eric Furlat will get in the way sometimes. And I thought Jordan Spence had a really good game. He was getting pucks down low, getting pucks to the net, creating a little bit of offense from the back end. Even though there wasn't much offense to be had, he was getting the puck up the ice to the right guys. And I thought that he was really solid. So from my level of view, where I was at, watching, we were in the Sens defensive zone for 2 periods, got a lot of view of Jordan Spence out there. And I thought that in my mind, looking at what his body work was tonight, I thought it was really good. So I'm going to go with Jordan Spence.
Yep, I like it. Martian up against his old team, and that's where the eye test matches the micro analytics. If you guys are fans of the hockey stat cards that they do after every game, Jordan Spence was the top player for the Ottawa Senators. So that's a good call by you there, Martian. Lots of people in the chat saying Eller. I thought he had a nice game, creating good chances. But I want to give some love, a little standout, honorable mention to Michael Amadio. I thought he had a good game too. 1 shot, 1 block, 5 hits. He just always wins his board battles. Every time he is on the ice, I just feel comfortable that he's going to make the smart, responsible play. And then this is the first time in what seems like forever that he doesn't get on the score sheet. I mean, when you get zero goals, that'll happen. But yeah,
well, it is. Wasn't it a 5-game point streak up until tonight? Something like that.
I think even 6, Martian. Like it was crazy how hot he was. So yeah, I think he deserved a bit of love. And we're gonna show the rest of this game, what's left of it. We squeezed most of the juice out of this, but we're gonna show the rest of this game some love after another quick break to talk about some of our favorite sponsors. We'll be right back. Brandon Piller, Lilliams Martian. This is the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day. This episode is also brought to you by our friends over at Game Time. It's going to be a while till the Ottawa Senators are back in Ottawa, but what a great excuse to go to Cali in November. Hockey season is here. Nothing beats being in the arena for those games. Let's be real, though. Getting tickets can be a headache between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and all the things that are terrible about trying to order tickets online. Don't deal with that with Game Time, the app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NHL tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. Martian and I use Game Time to get our tickets for the home opener. And if you want to see the Ottawa Senators on the road, why not do it with Game Time? It's simple. You can get tickets in minutes. And the best part about Game Time, in my opinion, what you see is what you pay. I hate it when you think you get good seats at a good price and you get to final checkout and it's like, oh, here's a fee, here's an added fee, here's a fee, and then the total price is not what you thought, and you're like, well, I'm gonna have to find different seats because this is not the price that I was promised. Not with Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying NHL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. All right, back here in the postcast with my guy, Lilliams Martian, and the Ottawa Senators lose 1-0 to the LA Kings. Their last game at home till December 4th. Martian, how do you feel about heading off to the road with a game like this? Obviously, it's disappointing, but we went through a couple good spots. Defense is good. PK was good. They pushed back near the end of it. They don't get absolutely blown out here. Do you think that has a major effect leaving home and heading to the road a game like this where you don't score?
No, I don't think it does. I think that it was just a hard-fought loss. It was just like one of those tight checking games that you can't really get out of. And no, I don't think it does at all, Pilsy. Actually, I think if they carry a lot over from what they did tonight onto their road game, they'll have a lot of success. So in a way, I almost feel like it's a bit of a positive. I'm sure Travis Green and everybody's kind of saying the same thing to them right now, where you guys played a really good game, and that's the kind of the right way to play. The offense wasn't there. That's unfortunate. But that's because you played a really stingy, good defensive team. And if they play that same way, maybe tickle a little bit more of the offensive side of it. And,
A little more.
I'm not saying cheat the game at all, but get those shots through and capitalize on your chances. I mean, the game's right there. Pillsy, the analytics don't lie. You keep playing like that, right? It's all going to come out in the wash, right? You get that. You get that nice goals for percentage, a number like that, and you keep that going, you're going to win more games than you lose. So, no, I don't think it's going to hurt them at all. As a matter of fact, like I said, I think it's a good thing. So I think they're going to be able to carry this momentum right into this road trip, and they're going to hopefully, man. Honestly, I've been looking at this road trip, since the schedule came out. This is going to be. This is going to be a make or break stretch. Not make or break, but this is going to be a huge stretch, important stretch for this group. I'm sure they're aware of it. And hopefully they're able to get, some good team bonding on the road going. A little time away is never a bad thing. I think it's all going to be okay in Sensland. What's that first road game, by the way? Who are they playing next?
Anaheim.
Oh, so they go right down to California. So I'm assuming they play the Sharks right after that. Is it Anaheim?
And then the Kings, then Vegas, then in St. Louis for Thanksgiving, then off to Dallas, and then back up to Montreal, and then we're home again.
Holy moly. Yeah, that's a roundabout way of going around to things here. But yeah, no, I think that's I like it. I think you go down to California, get some sunshine, get a little good vibes going. The weather here is horrible, so there's not really a better time to get out of town than right now. So I think it's a welcome road trip. Hopefully the boys are ready on the ice, but I do hope that they get that. I know it's a lot of the same group from last year, but that team camaraderie, you can get that going here again.
Yep.
And I expect big things from the team on this road trip. Yeah.
Yep, I think it's a good time to hit the road. They just had a long homestand, and you got some guys that are trying to recover, so you get a bunch of days off, get some sunshine in you. I think it's a good thing, and play some Western teams. Last thing I want to talk about here, Martian, is we saw something we rarely see with the Ottawa Senators and head coach Travis Green, a timeout. We saw a timeout in this game. Now, Green called the timeout. So the Kings iced it with 40 seconds left. Then Kempe iced it with 14.3 seconds left. That's when Green called the timeout. Alfie on the clipboard, as always. They weren't able to get anything going. They win the draw back to Sandy. Sandy does that high and wide shot, and that's kind of the end of it. But what do you think about the timing of that one? Is that too little too late? Do you not like using it on an icing because it gives the Kings a little bit time to rest? Like, where do you land on that? Because timeouts has been kind of a tricky subject with this team this year.
Well, I mean, listen, Pilsy, I'm not going to try to take credit for this by any means, but is it possible that Travis Green is a postcast listener? Because I did call out that he was not using his timeouts early in the season. And all of a sudden, I mean, you mentioned that, he hasn't maybe been using them that often, but the last handful of games, he's using them every game. I mean, he's using his timeouts. So it's becoming more and more frequent. And if you got them, use them, I think. And so he maybe didn't see an opportunity at a different point earlier in this game to use it, and that whistle happens. I think that I mean, of course, that's a fine time to use a timeout when you still have it in your pocket. You can draw up a play, give the boys a little bit of a break, get the right guys on the ice, and I like the timeout. I always like a timeout, Pilsy. Like I said, what I don't like is going into the final buzzer without using your timeout. So perfect. Yeah, use that, baby. Let's see if we can get something cooking and change a little bit of the momentum here. And let's try something. Let's try to get this. Let's try to get this group going. Let's drop a play, Pills. And
I like it.
You know what? Yeah, I like it too, buddy. And that's all it is. That's use your timeouts. You've got them.
Take them with you.
It's one of the few tools you have as a coach. You're standing there basically powerless for the most part, other than what you're able to say in between whistles and TV timeouts, and as far as like putting personnel on the ice and calling that kind of shot. But as a coach, you can really sit your boys down during a timeout and try to make something happen for yourself. So I like using it at all times. You got to use those timeouts. So keep using them, Travis. That's all I have to say about that.
All right. I like it. And I like how he just hands it off to Alfie. Like, Get the offensive tactician in there. Get G on the draw. Get them all talking together. Get communication going. Give them an opportunity to huddle and be like, what's our best plan of attack here? So I like that he was able to find a spot to use it as well.
Yeah, and Alfie's got something to say, right?
Oh, yeah, he's cooking something up.
He's got something in his head that he's like, we could do this and this could work, right? And so, like, that's what I love. Get Alfie involved as much as possible, and timeouts are the perfect time to do that, Pills.
Yeah, exactly. So we want to thank everyone for joining us for this postcast. I know it was a bit of a snoozer as far as Sens hockey games go. Typically, look, say one thing about the Ottawa Senators, whether they're good, bad, ugly, great, they're almost always exciting. Like, it's back and forth hockey. There's always storylines. And this one, Martian, I think I'd like to pat ourselves on the back here. I think we did a good job chopping this one up, making it entertaining, and we couldn't have done it without all the great people in the chat. Over 100 people here. We can't thank you guys enough. We can't thank the Glebe Central Pub enough, all our great sponsors. Martian, any final thoughts before I land this plane?
No, I'm just excited for a great road trip coming up. And yeah, as far as 1-0 losses go, this wasn't a bad one. So yeah, that's all.
Yeah. All right, guys, this has been another edition of the Locked On Senators podcast, postcast, presented by the Glebe Central Pub and the Locked On Senators podcast. We're a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Ross and I are going to have a weekend recap. Lots of exciting stuff going on in Belleville. The Wisconsin Sens, a lot of those prospects got things cooking in their game tonight. So we're going to cover all that in Monday's episode of the Locked On Senators podcast. For myself, Brandon Piller, for my good pal, Loleems Marshall. Let's get some Go Sens Go in the chat. Caps locks, those GSGs for all of us. We appreciate you all. This has been another edition of the Locked On Senators podcast. It's your team every day.